What's up everybody, I'm Kyle Winjack and today's lesson is on chord inversions. You're going to learn what chord inversions are, how to invert any chord that you know, and how to actually use these in a musical context. I'm a firm believer that anytime you learn a music theory concept, the easiest way to get it thoroughly ingrained is to actually use it in your improvisation and composition. Before you're able to do that though, you'll need to understand what chord inversions actually are. So the easiest way that I find to visualize that is to go to a piano and you can see all the notes laid out in front of you. So let's play a regular C major chord in what we call root position. So the notes are C, E, and G, and we play them in that order. Now all you need to do to invert this is to take the bottom note, which is a C, and move it up an octave. So now we've got E, G, and C at the top. And you can hear the difference between root position and first inversion. So what I would recommend doing to get that under your fingers and into your ears is to come up with some sort of riff on whatever instrument you play using root position and first inversion triads. So you don't need to learn exactly what I'm doing there. Come up with your own ideas and experiment with those shapes, and feel free to make recordings of yourself trying this out. Tag me in them. They don't have to be professional quality. It's just about experimenting with this concept. Now if you're trying to do this on guitar, it is a little bit more challenging because it's less obvious visually where that next inversion is. So I've included some notation here to help you with the basics. This also works just as well with minor chords. So if we take an A minor chord, we've got it in root position as A, C, and E, and if we want to put that in first inversion, all we need to do is to move that A up an octave, and we've got C, E, and A. That's first inversion A minor chord. So that's just one inversion, but for a 3-note chord we can actually invert it twice. So we've got root position, first inversion which we've discussed, and we have second inversion where we just do the same thing. We move the note that's on the bottom up to the top. So now we've got G, C, and E. For this particular chord, that's the last inversion we can do because if we move the bottom note up an octave again, we end up in root position only an octave higher than when we started. So if we go back to our C major and A minor chords, now we've got 6 different versions of those chords that we can play with. So experiment with that and try something incorporating the second inversion shapes as well. If you're doing this on guitar, you're going to want to make sure that you can do this starting on any string. So for example, we can play our root position C major chord starting on the E string, the A string, the D string, or the G string. And that's also true for the inversions. So if most of this is new for you, you've already learned a lot so far, but if you want to take this to the next level, you can incorporate the scales that you already know to add melodic embellishments to these inversions. So if you go back to our C major triad example, we can take this simple melody that starts on a C. We go C, B, C, D, C. So we're basically starting on the C and then moving a note lower in the scale, and then back to C, one note higher in the scale, and ending on C. Now when I play these things, I like to add my own rhythm and groove to the melody, and once you get the hang of it, I encourage you to do the same, but you don't have to copy exactly what I'm doing necessarily. This video is really designed to give you the concept, and then you can take that and run with it. If you find it helpful, I'd really appreciate if you like, comment, and subscribe. And the #1 thing you could do to help see this channel grow is to share it with somebody who you think would genuinely benefit from this. So when we invert that chord and we play that same melody on one of the inner voices instead of having it be in the highest note, that can sound really nice because it's inner voice motion. But what if we wanted to take that same melodic shape but start it on one of the other chord tones? So if we started that melody on a G, we would go G, F, G, A, G. So in this case, instead of going a semitone down from where we started, like we did when we started the melody on C, we're going a whole tone down because that's the nearest note within the C major scale. Okay, so we've done the melody starting on the root, C, and on the 5th, G. Now we could also do it starting on the 3rd. And just like for the other examples, go ahead and take this melodic embellishment through all the different inversions. So there's already so much that you can do with just inverting simple triads, and a lot of people don't really explore that concept to its full potential. But if you want a little bit more to chew on, you could apply this same concept to seventh chords. For anybody who doesn't know, a seventh chord is where you take a triad and you add the seventh scale degree on top of that. So if we were to change our C major chord to a C major 7 chord, and we want to invert that, now we have 3 inversions that we can go through before we get back to root position. So root position is C, E, G, B. First inversion is E, G, B, C. Second inversion is G, B, C, E. And then third inversion is B, C, E, G. Each of these inversions has its own distinct sound, and the more that you experiment with them, the more familiar your ears and fingers will become with those inversions. So this is a really deep concept, and we're only scratching the surface here. So if there's anything that you would like to see me cover in the future, or if you have any questions about any of this, please let me know in the comments. I appreciate your feedback. So make sure you hit that bell so that you know when I post more videos like this, and I will see you next time.